And hello, people of the internet. How's it going today? How is everybody? Welcome to a walk through the mind. I'm Billy Bones. This is a moment where we can take a couple minutes out of our day and sit down, see if we can't bring up some talking points between each other that we can then go off and have a conversation with other people. Or not. It is what it is. But today, I'd like to talk with everybody, mostly you, about the topic of climate change. And I know this is a sensitive topic, but again, we're spitballing ideas, and you can take it and leave it, and throw this podcast right in the trash bin of your computer or cell phone right away. Go ahead and delete it if you don't want to listen. But if you're willing to, here we go. I can't deny that climate change is not real. Man-made climate change is where I bring up questions. I can't outright deny it, but I bring up questions. And I can think, we think back to what we've learned in school, and people used to migrate, hunter and gatherers, right? We can use the Native Americans of America as a pretty common, well agreed upon example. When hell, we can even go as far as birds, but we'll stick with people. When weather changed, or when the buffalo move, or maybe there was a catastrophic flood, and their homes got wiped away. We can all relate on some level on how that would happen, or how that would be. And if things were bad enough, you'd have to move. Things, places change. Things aren't stationary. There's been videos of people tracking just the shape of a river changing throughout the years. And sometimes people had to move. And granted, nowadays we have the ability to modify our immediate environment for the most part. All right, we got bulldozers and tractors, and we can make the immediate changes. We can change the river to suit our own needs. We can install pylons to build on a hill or prevent landslides. But even at that, things happen. So, but again, we have the immediate change of things. Now, so much as in the grand scheme of things, everybody's heard about the woolly mammoths and the saber-toothed cats. And if those things are real, then we kind of lead into the belief that there were 2-mile-high ice caps on top of North America. And if there were 2-mile tall ice caps, and now there's not, That to me sounds like climate change. I can't argue that one tiny bit. Used to be ice caps, now there's not. And I'm sure we can expand that out to the North and South Pole, where we're told that ice caps are melting. So there's climate change. The climate changes over the years, and it kind of actually doesn't come to much of a surprise that with 2 miles and now less ice, I'm talking in circles. I apologize. But so we're in agreement that there's climate change, but the man-made climate change is where it becomes really, really questionable to me. And that's not to say we're not having an impact. We all know that, back in the day, we as humans threw a bunch of plastic, a bunch of trash into the ocean. And now, according to what I've heard, I'm sure you've heard of it. Now we have a giant piece of plastic floating in the ocean. What else have we done? But when we start talking about carbon emissions, that's another thing, because when there's a volcano eruption, that is a much more condensed and immediate attack on the atmosphere than what driving cars does, especially in the United States, where we've got emissions. We know that leaded gas led to acid rain, so now we have unleaded gas, but that's coming up with thoughts. But either way, so there's definitely an effect on the environment. But again, we've made our changes on certain things, and we're being told it's gasoline that's causing the problem. We think about the Paris Accord, the Paris Climate Accord, and that was just a series of taxes against the United States to pay other countries, and it was more to make things more expensive here on us, and yet held no one to any standard. But yet we were going to be forced to change just via taxes. We have here in the state of Washington, I think it's still in the process of being worked on, our own personal climate accord that we're going to stick to. One thing that I thought figured that when we were taken out of the Paris Climate Accord by President Trump, that it would give the incentive for individuals upwards through the individual state, that if they wanted to be green, they had the option to enforce their own laws to go green. And I have had no problem with that. I think that's a fantastic thing. I don't think we should be forced to change. I think we should voluntarily change. And so that was just more incentive for us as individuals to step up. You start your green company. You can start your recycle company. You can again, go upwards as to enforce your own laws to force people to change. And I see that here in Washington with this this bill that's in the process, somewhere through the process. Now, the problem I have with it is we're right back to the Paris Climate Accord argument, where it's a tax on some things, but is it really enforcing anything? The people who are going to eat the tax dollars are the people that drive gasoline cars. Not everybody can afford an electric hybrid vehicle because it's going to be as a gas tax. And it's also the people that use natural gas, such as stoves and for heating. So that's a good portion of the people. But there is a provision where it doesn't tax personal airplanes, personal jets. So people like Delta or United Airlines, American Airways, which is not an endorsement, but people like them will still have to pay taxes. But if you have a personal jet, it should be nice, if you have your own personal airplane, it'd be nice as a little hobby. I can't deny that that wouldn't be fun. That's expensive. But you have people, people like Al Gore as an example, who has his own personal jet. People like President Trump, who has his own jet. Who else? Again, we got it. We're going big because I can't cite individual examples in the area. I can see making a provision for a company like Boeing, but not so much as individuals who are flying big jets. Our governor has been known to take frequent flights all over the country to push for things like that. And that would be done on a personal jet because he's not going to fly big airway. So who's getting taxed? Last time I did any research on this, an airplane puts out a lot more fumes than a personal car does. The plane puts out more gas in a short period than a car does over the long haul. And yet, we're going to tax cars. Granted, there's a bigger percentage of them, but we're not going to tax planes because we're fighting for the climate. We want to make things more expensive to force out the problem. So there's that issue. The other issue that I have is people fudging the numbers. They don't have to be dead set. But a computer is only as smart as its user. What happens if you put in faulty data? But if you do it by accident, right? You hit a 8 instead of a 5. Oops, things happen. But what if you purposely falsify the information? What if you suss out only the information that looks like it supports your thesis? And you refuse to report on the other half of the information. Right? You put in the wrong information, or you just withhold the wrong information so it can't be put in. I had a buddy tell me a long time ago, I wish I knew who the author was. I want to say it was Michael Crichton. Michael Crichton. I've only seen the name spelled. How he had charts and graphs inside one of his books to show the change in temperatures over the years. And then now, if you were to buy the same book, those graphs would be smaller or shortened or all out removed. That doesn't add any excitement to the reading, to the story. Why should we have facts in there? So it makes it harder for you as the individual to go back and fact check. There's an individual named Randall Carlson who has been on the Grimerica podcast many, many times. And he brings up, I know there's a YouTube version where they show all the graphs, and he shows massive fluctuations and changes, samples from ice cores. And we can go back and we can question, did someone falsify which information? Or does it make a difference on how far we examine the data? You know, again, I'm not here to deny climate change, but I'm going to question it. And I'm going to question the motives behind the people that enforce the laws. Who's getting the tax breaks? Who's getting all the money? Right? If we do it for ourselves, if we do it because we want to, I foresee a much better outcome. For you, for me, for the environment, and for people's pocketbooks, right? There's nothing wrong with innovation. Things change. Things have to change. But I want us to do it because we want to, not because we have to. Well, we have to, but not due to instructions and fines. Right? We have the Tower of Babel upon us. We have the internet. We have information galore. I've found out how to do so many things, and you can find out how to do so many things if you're willing to take the time. If you're not, so be it. It's your choice. I don't blame you. We each get, our fair share of free will on what we get to do day in and day out. So I know it's kind of all over the place, but hopefully we can, start with that. We got to start the conversation somewhere. I'm really happy you guys hung out this long. I know. Hopefully you'll be back. Hopefully this was a good enough conversation for you and me. I enjoyed it. You can find me on the Twitters at Billy Bones, BILLYBON3S. Go ahead and hit me up. Questions, comments, love mail, hate mail. Hit me up. We'll go out, take it, start the conversation. Love you guys.